That good afternoon. It is 12:08 here on April 28th. It is a beautiful day outside. You can see over my shoulder here. Really excited to have this community conversation with you. So if you are watching live, please feel free to say hey in the chat and we can give you a shout out. But the community conversations took a different path this year. We've been doing them virtually as opposed to at different locations in the community, simply because we've had more engagement this way. While we only have a couple people join us live, a couple dozen, which is way better than it ever was in person, we do get thousands of views on these videos, which is the whole point, right? Is to engage the community, for people to hear new information, and just another way that we can kind of try to make our large community smaller. So we've had a variety of topics discussed during community conversations. And this month we're going to talk about, you've probably seen lawn signs, you've received emails, you've seen the button on our homepage or on social media, but many people have no idea what the North Penn Education Foundation really is and what it does. And it is an incredible organization that partners with the school district to provide meaningful and amazing opportunities for our students and staff. So I am very pleased and honored to have a couple of our trustees join us this afternoon to talk to us a little bit more about the Ed Foundation, why they are a part of the organization, and what makes the Ed Foundation so wonderful. So we'll do brief introductions here. I'll just pull my friends in, and then we'll kind of hear from each of them at some point in the conversation. So again, thank you for joining us. Oh, okay. Look at that. First up is none other than Ms. Christine Liberoski. If you know Christine, you probably know her as our Director of School and Community Engagement, but many folks don't realize she's also the Executive Director of the North Penn Education Foundation. Good afternoon, Christine.
Hello, Dr. Bauer. Yeah, you got it right. So I'm Director of School and Community Engagement, but one of the job responsibilities is being the executive director of the foundation. So I've been in this position. I just celebrated my 27th anniversary this month. So
you started this position when you were 2 years old?
That's right. Thank you for noticing. So I wear both of these hats, and I have to say I love this part of my job. It's very meaningful. I love helping our students. I love helping our staff. And although it's pretty different than doing the communications for the school district, it is all about engagement. And so I think by having these two roles, they really complement each other and benefit the school district.
Love it. And by the way, she'll tell you more about some of the excitement, we'll say, behind her. Her office does not normally look like that, but we'll get to that in a moment. Bob, bring in my next guest. Surprise me here. Oh, Mr. Kurt Reichwein will not be a stranger to most folks, or at least former students. Kurt, welcome to the conversation here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, Dr. Bauer. Good morning, Christine. My name is Kurt Reichwein. I am a trustee on the Ed Foundation now, starting into my third year. And I am a retired North Penn technology and engineering educator. I taught in that department for 23 years prior to retiring. And I can say that the Ed Foundation has been a huge part of our existence at North Penn. So we'll talk more about that, though, as we get further into the program.
Wonderful teaser. Thanks, Kurt. All right, Bob, next guest. Oh, Marion Fraley, actually the leader of the Ed Foundation. Marion, why don't you tell the community a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Marion Fraley, and I'm currently the president of North Penn Ed Foundation. I got involved with the foundation dating back to maybe 2015, actually with the 50th anniversary committee for the school district.
Right.
And prior to that, I was a volunteer starting when my son was at Glenore and then Pembroke, and then with the North Penn Music Aids.
Love it. Thank you for all of that volunteerism, and thank you for being here today. We did get a shout out there. Bob, if you want to pull that onto the screen just to say hello. David Kratz, he is not the David Kratz that's a trustee, by the way. David often engages in this format. So David, I hope you are well. Good to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. All right. And our final guest, Mr. Don Franks. Don, tell us about yourself, please.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning from Arizona. We are living out here in Arizona for about 2 weeks. So we're heading home this Saturday. Anyway, I've been involved a little bit longer than Christine, actually. This is my 29th year, believe it or not. I am the owner of J.L. Fried Honda in Montgomeryville. Been fourth generation family business. It's been a wonderful experience with this Ed Foundation. We took it from asking teachers for grant requests and then going out and finding the money to support it. We reversed that, and now we're a strong organization and working hand in hand with the school district. We augment the programs in the district, and it's been my pleasure to be part of that, both to know how great of a district we have and understand how great we have and staff supporting that effort. It's been a joy.
Wonderful. Thank you. I did not realize that, Don. I didn't know so you must have started when you were 4 years old. So
5, actually.
Yeah, that all makes perfect sense. So one interesting part about the Ed Foundation, and as I said at the top of the hour here, and for those who are just joining us live, please feel free to drop a line in the chat. Just say hello so we can give you a shout out. If not, if you're just hanging out over your lunch break and listening to us, just thanks for being here. But I think a lot of people think, Christine, that the Ed Foundation and the North Penn School District are synonymous. They think we're one and the same. And there are certainly some connections there. For example, I am a part of the trustees and I get a vote, but I am just a vote, right? So can you kind of outline what is the North Penn Ed Foundation? And if possible, I know it's not easy to do, can you kind of outline the separation between the two?
Sure. So the foundation started in 1988. Mr. Ken Weir was the director of school and community engagement then. Probably not the same title, but basically did the same role. And at that point, they wanted to start a foundation to raise money to give back to our schools. We're very fortunate in this school district in that we are connected to North Penn and our school board. There is actually a bylaw of the school board that says we exist. And then our bylaws say that members have to be the superintendent. It has to be my position as the executive director. And we need a member of the school board to serve on it. And we need a member of the Teachers Association to serve as a trustee as well. So that's how we're technically connected. However, we have our 501c3, we have our own board, we have our own financial accounting, we are audited every single year, and we make, all of our decisions are made by the foundation. And we basically donate everything that we do back to the school district in terms of the programs that we support, the products that we buy, anything that we do goes back to North Penn schools. But like I said, we're a separate 501c3. Our monies do not mesh at all, completely separate, which is very different than most foundations across the state. You'll see many other foundations are completely separate. They don't have the connection partnership that we do have. And I just feel very fortunate that this school board does support the foundation in the way that it does.
That's great. Thank you for that, Christine. Very informative. Marion, as president of the foundation, can you talk a little bit about why so let's say you're a community member and you just love children and you want to support the children of the North Penn School District. Why would someone do some of their philanthropy work, there you go, through the Ed Foundation? Why donate to the Ed Foundation?
I think it's fantastic to be able to give back in your own community. That stays locally, and it supports just such a wide array of projects ranging from science related and also all science related, but many other subject areas such as social studies, math. We've had grants related to basically all sorts of areas throughout the district and also at all levels. Every single school in the district benefits, maybe not every grant cycle, but as in a circle over time, definitely we've given grants to Northbridge and North Penn High School. All of the middle schools gain some grant funding from us, and so do all of the elementary schools. So your neighborhood school is going to benefit, and it's really nice to know that your dollars stay locally and benefit students throughout the district in a wide array of different grants that we are able to give out.
Great. Thank you, Marion. So another shout out there in the chat, Bob, if you could pull that forward, from Aaron of Hatfield. Hey, Aaron, thank you. Aaron often engages as well. Aaron's family has a long history in the North Penn School District, and her father actually served on the North Penn School Board. And so to read this comment, I must say I'm not surprised, but that's why we're doing this, right? So that more people know about the Ed Foundation. Aaron's saying, I had no idea about the foundation until a couple years ago. And she started as a student in 1985. So, Marion, thank you. It is about giving locally. It is about supporting your school. Sometimes people are like, I want to give to the school district. I want to give to this type of thing, but I don't know how to do it. And the Ed Foundation has kind of a process for our educators in the district to seek financial support for things that might be outside of the purview of the typical building or curriculum budget. So let's go to Kurt Reichwein. Kurt, for those who don't know Kurt, he introduced himself as a former technology and engineering teacher, department chair, just one of those teachers that kids really gravitated towards and made a difference in kids' lives. So Kurt, let's put your teacher hat on for a second. Let's rewind about, let's say, 9 years. You and I are both at the high school. I'm high school principal. You're teacher in the department. What types of things would you apply for a grant for? And what would kind of like, when it came up in your everyday, be like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to the Ed Foundation for that.
Well, for us as a department, when I was actively teaching, it was always about what could we do that's going to make a splash that we can't fit into our normal budget? What could we do that was going to really change the course of the trajectory for what we're currently teaching and take it to a new level, something that was never offered before? And at the heart of it, in hindsight now, that is the absolute goal of the Ed Foundation. So the things that we would always look for was something that was largely huge as an impact, and also something that was just not feasible in your every year budget. It was just something that was just a little bit out of reach at all times. And, we have upgraded a lot of things and added new things in our department, such as new CNC machinery to update our antiquated tabletop, basically toys, comparatively speaking, to what we're working with today. We're working with professional grade equipment. And it's been a big part long before you came, Todd, in our existence. I want to say, I think the first grant that we got was, I'd have to look way back, but it's close to 20 years.
Yeah. And
it was a set of solar panels that we got for our electricity electronics program. And oddly enough, they are still in use today.
That is really, really cool. So I'm going to give a shameless plug. He won't do it, but I will. Since his retirement from the North Penn School District, Kurt is also a business owner. He owns a record store.
Well, it's the record shop, but it is a record shop.
All right. The record shop, which is a record store, and in Phoenixville, right on the main strip there. So Kurt's passion for music and vinyls, stop in and say hello to Kurt sometime. It's a really, really cool place. Thank you for that. All right, Don. So you, I guess, outed yourself as the most tenured member of the Ed Foundation on this call. Can you talk just a little bit, and you gave a teaser at the top here, a little bit about the evolution of the foundation itself, and just shifts in, whether it's the levels of engagement, the number of applications, the volume of money, whatever it is. But what has been the biggest change in the foundation over those, I think you said 29 years?
Yes, it's been 29 years. Yeah, seeing the evolution of the foundation has been a benefit. I can bring the experience from the past on the directions we take in the future. But I look at it initially we were trying to supplement some of the personal commitments that the teachers have made in enhancing their classrooms. They were smaller projects, up to $600, I believe it was. And as I said, we'd solicit grant requests from our teaching staff. And then we'd have to scratch our heads and figure out, well, how are we going to pay for these grants when we allow them? And that's evolved. That's kind of flip-flopped to the point where we're financially stable, and it gives us more opportunity to enhance both the experience of the students, as well as I look at it as rewarding our teaching staff for their personal commitment and their enthusiasm for providing a wonderful educational experience for our kids. It's given me the opportunity to understand what a great school district we have and what committed support people we have, staff people. We have both the teachers and the administration that are really, truly dedicated to providing an efficient experience financially, as well as an excellent expansion of the programs we provide. The school district commitments, as I see it, the mandates that they have takes a significant portion of the budget. And I look at what we do as the foundation as being an additional revenue stream that goes beyond the tax base. It goes to the efforts of committed people, community members, to provide an additional channel of revenue to support these extra programs. So I look at it now, the school district's funding I see is limited by the tax base and the requirements of our community and the laws, and it allows us to go beyond that by providing an independent stream that has grown to, I believe we have a $40,000 budget for this year's programs that we're looking at right now for next year's experiences. But all in all, I think the community is blessed to have interested people, both community members as well as school district staff, and put together the most efficient directives to providing programs within the district that, again, are outside of the school district budget. We are a channel for nonprofit work and some things we've gone through, grant requests through the government, all kinds of things to augment the finances of the district and provide that expanded experience for kids of all levels. And it's been a great experience that way.
I love what I heard from both of you on this, being Kurt and Don. I heard words like innovate, push the envelope, expand, enhance. It really does feel like that's the mission. And, you know, when you talk about a school district of 13,000 students, nearly 2,000 employees, it might not be feasible to, I'll just use an example here. Kurt mentioned solar panels. To buy solar panels for every 7th grade classroom, to have one for each student so they can experiment with toy cars. But you know what? Kurt Reichwein, that one teacher in the one building, is like, hey, I want to try this. Let me try to innovate and do something different. Submit a grant. The board reviews those grant applications, obviously has to prioritize at times, and the Ed Foundation makes it happen. But Marion, as the president, certainly it goes beyond. I've seen the work of the Ed Foundation go well beyond just teacher grants. There's other things that the Ed Foundation supports in our school community. Can you provide any examples of the types of things that the Ed Foundation has done for the school district outside of just the teacher grants? I don't want to minimize by saying just, but you know what I mean.
Right. So one of my favorites is the planetarium that we have been able to support in conjunction with the school district, which I think makes it even more powerful when we're able to sometimes partner with the school district to do something that either one of us might not be able to do alone. But the planetarium benefits the entire community. It's open to the public. All of this, I think all of the elementary school students go through there at some point. So it's really impactful, and we were able to get new equipment that otherwise neither the school district nor the foundation as its own entity would have been able to do. And so through our educational tax credit program that Christine can give more details about later if you're interested, but through that we were able to really make a difference for the entire community, not just North Penn School District. And another example, I think, is the foundation provides a way that we can partner with different schools and sort of, I guess, I'm forgetting the word, but I guess to try out new projects.
Pilot.
And so the example that comes to mind is the communications boards at the elementary
yeah.
school. So we had two, I think, proposals, and we tried both. And I think one became evident as a clear winner. And so we were able to, I guess the pilot is the word I was looking for, by piloting that program in two schools and seeing what a clear winner out of the two, and then moving that project to other schools in the other elementary schools in the district. That was a really great opportunity to, I think, make a difference and for those individual schools, and then make a difference for the whole school district by finding one that worked better and just trying it out. So we can, I think our funding and our process allows us to try out some new things and see how they work, and then hopefully get a better solution for the whole district moving forward. Those were two examples that I can think of.
Those are two perfect examples. I can think of a few other RIF and other events. Don, I saw you kind of give a little nod. Go ahead, take it away.
Well, we've done a transition going from enrichment programs to really identifying social needs in our district as well. We've done a good job with trying to address the language barrier. For example, when we have over 30 languages spoken in our district, and providing those kinds of integrations when we bring a child into the district that doesn't speak the language, or the parents that don't speak the language, we do things to try to enhance that or to support that, rather, so that the kids can get more out of our district as well as the society they live in. We do field trips to make English as a second language students more comfortable in the environment and the community that we have. We help balance out economic inequities within our district. We have I don't know how many schools it is, over 6 or so Title I schools, where they don't quite have the money to go out and do a field trip, and we can provide that. We also address character development. That's another thing that the school district does a great job. They're very sensitive to bullying. They're very sensitive to building good community members. And again, that's something that's really expanded the scope of what we do. In that aspect of things, much like Marion was mentioning with the communications boards, kids that have a problem communicating, these boards help them, and it makes them more comfortable in what they do. And again, back into the community. But it builds good citizens as well. And that's kind of an expansion from the technologies and things that we've done in the past. It's way bigger than that now.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And great points. All really good examples. And we're just scratching the surface on some of the things that the Ed Foundation has done and will continue to do. But I do think Marion teed up my next question, Christine. She mentioned something about tax credit, EITC, I think is what she was alluding to. What is EITC? Tell us about that. And why would that be a good option for someone who's considering donating?
Oh, sure. Leave the tough question for me. Thanks a lot, Marion. So the EITC program is the Educational Improvement Tax Credit Program. In the state of Pennsylvania, we're really lucky to have this program. But basically, there's certain corporations, businesses who, if they donate to the foundation and other organizations, it's a program where they get tax credit. So whether it's 1 year or 2 years, first year it's 75%. If you donate for 2 years, it's 90%. So it's very attractive to these organizations. We are very lucky that we are an EITC approved organization. So businesses in the community, I can name a dozen that support us, from Univest Bank to Waste Management to CNN Bank. We have many local partners. They donate money. This year, it was close to $90,000 that we got from these organizations, which is incredible. Now, there are 8 programs within the school district we can use them on. Marion mentioned the planetarium. That's one of them. North Penn Television is another one. Our STEM program, we are very lucky to have a spatial computing class at the high school. We're the only high school in the country to have that program. And And we kind of have some breaking news now too, because we just approved the nano microscope, and I'll get that all wrong, but it actually is. I think it's the
SEM.
It's the
Scanning electron
microscope,
which has been on loan at North Penn High School for years. But the foundation, with EITC money and in partnership with the school district, will be purchasing that microscope, again, making us the only school in the country, in the United States, who has a microscope, who has that technology in their classroom. So the EITC program has made some big number projects a reality. And the organizations that do donate to us through the EITC, I can't thank them enough.
So you guys don't even need me, right? So comment from Don leads me to Marion, leads me to Christine. And here we go, our 5th degree of Kevin Bacon. Kurt, SEM microscope. Tell us a little bit about what Christine just teed up for us here. What is the SEM microscope and why is this a big deal? I didn't realize this was primetime ready, but she let the cat out of the bag. So here we go.
So, scanning electron microscope with an elemental analysis module. That's a lot of fancy words. But the long and short of it is, we are the only high school in America that has a nanotechnology program as the keystone, or I should say the cornerstone, really, of our engineering program. Mike Bauer, an extremely innovative and creative teacher, one of the best teachers I've ever seen in my life, both as a teacher and a student. Has worked tirelessly to advance our program. And he got involved with Drexel University and then on down the road through Toyota, Hitachi, and all the rest of this. And Hitachi said, hey, we have this great little tool here that we can put in your room, because we used to travel to the University of Penn and down to Drexel with samples. And when I say samples, they're smaller than your fingernail. And they would be able to scan these things and break them down into what exactly is making up these nanofibers and whatnot. And it's been a long time dream of Mike's to have one of these in our lab. And Todd can attest to that, because I think Todd walked in, Mike said, hi, my name is Mike Bauer, and we need this. And that's just about how long it took.
10 years ago. Every time I talked to him, he's like, can we get one of these? I'm like, Mike, come on. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. But continue. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. That's all part of the narrative. So the bottom line here is we have technology in a high school program where kids are doing research that exceed what many kids get to do in their graduate work at the collegiate level. We're doing it here at the high school level. And this machine, this piece of equipment, while on the surface doesn't seem like a big deal, it's a massive deal. And it's a game changer. It's going to allow us to keep our nano program at the forefront of technology instead of playing catch up. People will be playing catch up with North Penn for a long, long time. And that is in large part, to the Education Foundation.
I love it. Thank you for that. And you sold it about as good as Mike did. That was exciting. So we do, Bob, I'm going to need your help again. Pull this comment in because, again, people doing my job. Dave says, can people of the public join or volunteer with the Ed Foundation? Assume, Christine, you're the best person to explain to us how they can can you slide a little bit to your left or right? Well, there we go. How they can get involved May 1st or other ways that people can engage with the North Penn Education Foundation.
Sure. So first of all, the foundation is comprised of community members. The majority are community members. There are a few staff members that I mentioned before, but other than that, these are volunteers from the community. In fact, we just appointed a new trustee at our last meeting. So I think there's under 20, there's about 17 of us sitting on the board right now. We're always looking for new trustees. So all you need to do is shoot me an email. If you're interested, we can talk about it. There's there's a process that we go through, but always interested in trustees who can represent different segments of the community. We also have a bunch of events that you can be involved in. Starting this week on May 1st is our annual online auction, which is everything that is behind me is kind of promoting that. So we've been doing this for over 10 years. It's an online auction where you can bid on everything from the Phillies these tickets and merchandise that you see behind me to actual North Penn unique experiences, such as really good seats at graduation or really good seats at our winter concert. So there's a myriad. There's gift certificates to local restaurants, or maybe you want to treat your car to a spa day at J.L. Freed. We have items like that. So there will be links on the website, on the foundation's website, emails, lots of opportunities to be able to join for that. We have a golf outing every year, and that this year is scheduled for Tuesday, October 7th at Talamore Country Club. We have an annual campaign. We also have, which I would really encourage everyone to participate in, is our, we didn't talk about this yet, is our Build-A-Bag program. So every summer, the foundation supports a drive to fill backpacks for students who may need them in the school district. So last year alone, we filled and distributed over 300 backpacks to all of our schools, working with our guidance counselors to those who might need them, plus always having a supply at the ESC and in the schools for others who might have them. I should thank J.L. Freed for allowing us. We use their former site to do all the packing and such, but we're always looking for volunteers at that as well. So you can take a look at our website, which is npennedfoundation.org. You can shoot me an email, but we love including as many people as we possibly can.
All right, take a breath.
Can I just add one thing to that? One of the beauties of our organization and the board and the foundation is we're apolitical. There's no political drive in any of this. The reality of it is these people that are on this board as volunteers, we're all dedicated to improving the school district. It's the purity of it all that really makes it beautiful, because we're all have the right intentions in this stuff. We're conscientious about balancing our finances, but also trying to balance the needs of the district that are identified for us. And that purity, I think, is really what makes it the best. We can disagree, we can agree. It all goes down to having the right intentions in all this. And the people on our board are that way. And I love that part of it.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And, when I was a principal in the district, and I would assume most of our staff's perspective, I didn't really have the understanding of, now that I'm in the room where it happens, it's like when there's an idea that comes up, I hear our trustees and the board saying, how can we make that happen? How can we support? What could we do? And to go back to David's question, how can we join or participate? When the time comes, if there's something that you would love to donate for auction, for example, maybe some people in our community are fortunate enough they have a vacation home. If you want to give a weekend away that people could bid on to help raise money for the Ed Foundation, such as a spa day for your car if you happen to own a car dealership. But we are just so appreciative of all the efforts, not only of the board and the trustees, but everyone who donates, sponsors, helps just pack the bags. It's not always about giving money or giving things, but sometimes giving your time is enough. So I'll offer it up. We always shoot for roughly 30 to 40 minutes. We're 33 minutes in here, so I think we're about at the end of our community conversation. But Kurt, you have something you wanted to say, or were you waving?
No, I do. I would like to add this in just before we close out this session. I think it's really important that if we have teachers that are viewing this, I want everyone to understand just how easy it is to write a grant, how important it is for you to grow as an educator by writing and submitting a grant. I once said to Mike Wojcik one day, I said, hey, it's grant time. What should we be asking for? And he said, without hesitation, we need a CNC mill. Okay, so prep period, his lunch period, 40 minutes, we wrote the grant, we submitted it. It took a cycle to get through, and we finally were awarded that machinery. The point here is this: if you don't ask, you don't know. And I implore our teachers across the district at every level to talk to your colleagues and say to yourself, what can we do to change things for the better? And I don't care if it's $50 or $5,000. Mm-hmm. If you don't submit a grant, you won't know.
You know what, Kurt? You raised a really good point in that Now, to go back to being a part of the conversation where I wasn't before, I've heard conversations in the room when we're all reviewing these grants where people in the room, like, and I'm sitting there, right? And they'll be like, why isn't the school district paying for this? You're probably right. And so it has opened some eyes of what people are asking for. Wait a second, why don't we have that? And we'll find a way for the school district to support that endeavor. And in other times, like you said, with the example with Mike, it's the foundation sponsoring. And Marion pointed to a great example of where we've partnered. So it's a, we work together. It's really just about the kids and the staff. And I love Don's comment about the beauty of it all. It's really just people coming together to help their community, help their schools. It's really a great thing. And I can tell you I got you, Christine. My experience with the North Penn Ed Foundation as a former teacher in a neighboring school district, I didn't fill out grant applications. I didn't donate, but guess what? I do now because to my local and to North Penn. By the way, I love to give to the North Penn Ed Foundation, especially for the auctions and things like some of our prizes come from the Bauer household, but it's just a wonderful opportunity. And to say, you know what, I don't know I don't know what they need, but I trust the Ed Foundation to make those decisions and for the professionals who are actually in front of our kids to ask. So Kurt, your point is well taken that you got to ask. You don't know if you don't ask, don't try, right? So Christine, you waved me down there and then we'll close this thing out.
Yeah, I wanted to try to end it. I just wanted to thank everybody who has ever applied for the grants because it's really, they're taking time out of their day and going above and beyond. I really want to thank them. But also, we've said a lot about teachers. It's not just teachers who receive grants. Our administrators, our principals, our support staff. We have a grant that we'll be reviewing on Friday that is from a custodian who has an idea about having kids help paint some rocks for their garden. I mean, you don't have to be a teacher. You just have to love kids and want to make everything better here at North Penn. So I just encourage anyone, and we've partnered with Home and Schools. I mean, we're really open to open to new ideas. And if you ever have any question, you don't want to go through the application process, even though it's really easy, just call me, just email me. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I want to find ways to make, all of these ideas happen.
So beautifully said, and a great way to close this out. So in closing here, thank you to Christine, Don, Marion, and Kurt for joining me on this episode of Community Conversations. Thank you to everyone who is currently watching, who chimed in, or is watching in the future. We really appreciate it. And if you want to get involved, like you heard from Christine, please, maybe Bob, you can put it in the chat for future viewers, but email Christine. We will find a way to get you involved. The North Penn Education Foundation is one of the wonderful organizations that makes this North Penn world go round. And it's all about the kids, which is just awesome. So thanks for joining us today on April 28th, roughly around noon. We hope everybody, there it is. It's in the chat. Thanks, Bob. And you can go to npennedfoundation.org to learn more. Everybody have a great afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
You as well. Take care, everybody.
Bye.